Is it, welcome to Live from Stadium Drive. Should we be changing the intro because it's so green out? Everything has leaves on it, and things are a little bit different here in Titletown. It's
a harsh transition when you see the green to
what we have here.
Welcome to Lambeau Field, everybody. Welcome back. We are live from Stadium Drive. Pleasure to be back here with the Packers sitting at 10 wins. Mike McCarthy approved playoff discussion may commence now. But first, let's see what we got going on. We're going to look at this team. We're going to size up this Packers roster. Then we're going to look at the upcoming Buffalo Bills matchup. Thomas, what's coming out to you on the offense? What stood out from that last game against Atlanta?
We were able to do it all with a team effort. My first thought was that second possession the Packers had, we got down to a 3rd and long, and it took us time, and it just felt like kind of like a statement play. It was just like, make or die. We punt it here, which doesn't happen much with Tim Mastay, or we get things rolling, and we completed a clutch first down to Corliss.
That was Q in a big way.
And then almost you blinked, and we were right in the red zone. We marched right down the field. We racked up I don't know how many first downs on that drive. Offense continuing to perform. Everybody's looking at how the defense let up. There's been a lot of talk where they play in vanilla, playing it safe, coming back, resting on their heels after the big lead. Mike doesn't seem to be too concerned about it, not really dishing much on it, so see what comes. But, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are talented, but
the Packers offense did enough to stay out ahead of that team. Just a couple quick shout-outs. We got to come up with a clever name for them on the show here. So these are going to be our Sheboygan shout-outs. Number 1, QB1, doing it week in, week out. Going to be our MVP, maybe co-MVP if they're generous with J.J. Watt. Number 2, Randall Cobb, the man who is set to be a free agent. Ted Thompson, I beg of you, re-sign the man. I know it's characteristic that you typically do give that second contract to your star young receivers. Make this one happen. That dude is clutch when the plays are breaking down.
Keep the core.
He is. When Aaron Rodgers looks to that guy after the other stuff has not gone according to plan, and Cobb coming through in a big way. Number 3. Shit. Oh, we got running backs to talk about.
Toast
That's
'em.
right. Toast them.
Number 3.
Jim Starks. You know what? You know who number 3 actually was? The offensive line blocking for Jim Starks. O-line playing incredible ball right now. Those dudes, those 5 guys have been out there for a long time together now. I think since week 3, since Bulaga came back with the injury, or from the injury. That's cool. That's how you get a good push up front. Pass protection's been incredible. Let's talk about what they did in the run game, though, Tommy.
It was successful all day. You had another over 100-yard game with Eddie Lacy, but then late in the game, a hip bruise apparently, but Starks came in and was playing out of the backfield, was looking strong again. Mike McCarthy went as far to say it is the best game of his professional career.
Best game as a pro, said to the Buffalo Press.
So it's encouraging. Obviously, until performance proves otherwise, Eddie Lacy is your number 1, but to know that you have 44 waiting as number 2, ready to take a spell off Lacy and to give a new threat. He's shiftier, he's lighter. Just encouraging. You remember what he did, back during that 2010 run.
Crucial.
He was just that kind of
late
key
season
team player that you needed to come in and kind of do exactly what he did. So big up.
I'm switching up our order here, but we're talking about the running backs. Let's talk about Devin Harris. What he's trying to do on special teams this year is not exactly lighting the place on fire.
No.
Aaron Nagler made the point earlier tonight that maybe he comes in just super fresh. If we thought James Starks looked fresh coming off the bench, maybe Dewan's really got something just waiting to unleash on this.
But absolutely.
In terms of special teams, what we've seen from him on the field this year, very average in the kick return game.
Yeah.
And beyond that, lot of stuff is just even below average for these special teamers this year. There have been 5 blocks on the Packers, 2 punts, 2 extra points, and 1 field goal.
Those are things you just don't,
They get swept over because they've been doing so well and still winning, but not by a ton this week. The defense kind of giving up some good garbage time, almost turning into a relevant Atlanta comeback. How'd you feel about the Packers defense? I mean, what happened there trying to cover Julio Jones?
I'm not too worried about it. Like I still like the core guys how we're playing. It's not taking anything away from the Falcons. I mean, obviously you like to see them at home with the lead be able to play, but also I mean, how much prevent do you play in? I'm not overly concerned. I mean.
So you think it was just softening up? I mean, it was not the strongest day from our secondary. Sam Shields looking a bit rusty. Micah Hyde, Tremont, all those guys, really until they brought in Devon House, who started to match up pretty well with him. And
a downer game a little bit from Mike Daniels and Julius Peppers.
Just the line.
Been on a slide. I mean, there hasn't been any impact plays. There wasn't really too many impact plays. And against the Patriots, we didn't see any turnovers. We were good enough. We limited Tom Brady, but so those game changer plays you haven't seen of. So you'd like to see more of those because the turnover battle, as Coach Mack will tell you, is crucial. Yeah.
Well, the key to winning the game was basically the offense doing just enough to keep ahead of the Falcons, who were fighting for their division title somehow. Packers going up against a defense ranked much higher than the last ranked Falcons this week. More like the 5th ranked?
Yep.
Fifth ranked?
5th overall. Very interesting matchup against the Bills team, who
an uncommon opponent.
By the way, that was 13 teeth clicks, solid ones, not halvesy. It's
we rounded down
in 6 minutes and 17 seconds. So
McCarthy interviewed by BuffaloBills.com or their beat writers
with the Bills media.
We tallied the teeth clicks and.
Pretty good performance.
That's pretty good.
About 2 minutes.
Yeah. A little over 2 minutes. Mike, keep it real.
But it seems the Bills are a team that have they're set up with a pretty damn good defense and just an offense that can't get them any stops. I mean, they set franchise records for sacks last year, and they could maybe do it this year. Mario Williams and Marcel Darius. Yes.
3 guys with 9.5 sacks or more.
Yep. And getting interceptions +9 and turnover differential, and they put Manning down last week, and I mean they've been able to do it. And then you count that you're going at home after they're a little bit salty after kind of their playoff hopes really getting kind of put in the dirt last week.
Yeah.
Amped up, getting us off our cadence, and our offensive line has been playing great, but I mean, in a hostile environment, and Lang and Sittner still a little crusty. And I mean, you look at these guys who are making plays. I mean, Rodgers is probably going to get a little grass on his jersey. I mean, it's. I don't know if we get out there scot free, it's going to be a miracle. And just talking about the type of things that can cause a team. How can you stop if you have a less than stellar quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, such as Kyle Orton and pretty much every other quarterback in the league, just being real. Mm-hmm. How do you defeat a team that has a superior quarterback? A hell of a good way is to stifle that quarterback and make him uncomfortable and break him down and throw off his timing and get him second guessing. And a team like that can do that. The Seahawks did it to Peyton Manning last year. The Giants did it to Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
And to us on the way.
Like
a strong D-line. 4 dudes. You don't need to do much blitzing, if hardly any.
Yep.
If those guys are getting pushed up front, everything else falls into place for the defense. They can drop the 2 safeties back.
Yep.
And the Bills are the kind of team that are really built to do that kind of stuff. I mean, we've seen what they did to Peyton Manning That's incredible. For them to kind of fly under the radar that they have, that's just kind of, there's some outspoken teams in that AFC East division, but the Bills are no joke. I mean, they're not great on offense. You got Kyle Orton, enough said. Fred Jackson getting up there, but effective.
I think it all starts with Orton. Like, everybody knows the journeyman of Orton. I mean, he can, he's he can make the throws when he has to. Game manager, he's been called or whatever, when he was with the Broncos, or he can make throws. But I mean, there's the talk of this play, the slide, this last week that kind of epitomizes what they're getting with Kyle Orton. Of, he kind of left. He basically almost considered retirement with the Cowboys just because his heart wasn't in it, and he goes and gets the starting gig with the Bills. And, he's kind of playing. He's always been a pretty ho-hum guy. He's not going to be your, I guess, Phillip Rivers would maybe be the antithesis of a Kyle Orton, jabbering on the sidelines. Hothead. But unless, real quick side note, do yourself a favor, everybody, and Google image search Kyle Orton. You will get some of the funniest damn pictures of him in some pretty compromised states. Do yourself a favor and Google image Kyle Orton.
Right on.
But anyway, it was a 3rd and 2. And he scrambled away, which he barely ever does, and he's kind of just stuck in the mud in the pocket all the time. And the replay, in all intents and purposes of what you're looking at, looks like he could have cut up and got the 2 yards for the first down early in the second quarter, and maybe got their offense rolling, continued, and take that kind of play. You want to see your quarterback take a shot to advance. And he slid for 0 gain and 2 yards, and they ended up punted and went their way onto a completely poor offensive performance. So
are you saying he's just not the guy that's just he's not gonna get him over that edge?
They know he's not. I mean, he's not, can the Bills really look at themselves, who I think is a proud organization, say Kyle Orton's our answer? No. They got EJ Manuel, who people are looking at as a bust. He went out in week 5. I mean, is he going to be the guy? Waste the draft pick on him, potentially. Orton's not the guy. I mean, there's not going to thing. And just to wrap up, I mean, the Bills coach,
Doug Marrone.
Doug Marrone said this week, question, because it was basically like a Cleveland situation, is should Orton start or put EJ Manuel back in there? And he's just like, I've always said the quarterback gets too much credit for wins and too much blame for losses. But, it's a different story around here when you listen to Mike McCarthy talk about Aaron Rodgers, or people talking about Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, or teams that are continual winners and in it every year. It sounds like a team that sees their problem at quarterback and they're trying to do damage control. Right. I think it's square number one. If your defense is doing great but you cannot get enough points to keep it competitive, it's your offense and your quarterback. That's all I have to say about that.
Think we'll see EJ Manuel in this game?
I was thinking about that a little bit. I think it's if we get rolling, I think we could. Yeah. I mean, if Flynn goes in, Manuel might go in.
Who knows, man? Yikes! Flynn goes in Buffalo. Holy fuck, man, that'd be awesome. But it's a cool game going in. Like you said, we got respect for the Buffalo franchise. That's the second biggest or second smallest market. Yep. There's like trees next to the stadium. We looked up the picture before. That's kind of cool.
It looks like a nice kind of, yeah.
Packers have never won in Buffalo and haven't even played there since 1994. So there's it's an uncommon opponent. Mike said it twice. I'm saying it twice.
Got a lot more teeth clicks to go.
It's a funny call, man. Some people might call it a trap game. I just think it's just such an unpredictable game. How the Packers will do against a really good defense. I love the challenge. I was excited about the Packers' challenge of facing Julio Jones going into the Falcons game, and that didn't turn out so hot. So hopefully they can keep things going. It's really going to require a good run game. Eddie Lacy with the hip bruise, they say it's not too serious, but they're on a short week. Yeah. James Starks showed enough, and it's a big old homecoming game for him, so that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe even J.C. Treader gets in because I understand he's from the area too. That'd be cool. Blocking for Matt Flynn. I don't know. I can't see it
Why
getting.
not, you know?
I can't see it. Matt Flynn on the road. Goodness. I can't see that. I have a hard time seeing the Packers reach 40 points.
Yes, no, I don't think, I don't think we're just going to be able to air it out. And, I mean, a hostile environment like that against a damn good defense, I mean, I think it's just not going to be a high-scoring affair.
You know what it kind of has the makings of is how that last game turned out between the Packers and the Vikings in Minnesota, where Packers were...
Spirited team,
yeah,
the Vikings.
Yep. Vikings brawled, missed some stuff from the quarterback position, but had good defense and just played hard. And that's the kind of team Buffalo is. I think they're really, really happy that John Bon Jovi didn't buy him.
Yeah.
I am. But do we jump to scores on that note?
Yeah.
I think I've got mine.
Go.
I'm gonna say Packers 32, Bills 20. What are you thinking?
30-13.
30-13. Cheers. For Tommy Burns, I am Matty Day.
For Matty Day, I'm Tommy Burns.
And we were live from Stadium Drive.
Peace.